Hey guys, it's Jamie bringing you Recovery Inspired Hope. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, Jamie Tall, as soon as you finish watching this. Today I have my very good friend with me, Chris Mayo. And Chris is going to tell us a little bit about himself. Chris?
Hi, my name is Chris Mayo. I'm a licensed clinical social worker here in Athens, Georgia.
Okay, and Chris, you also do some other things working with Advantage Behavioral Health and also with DRC.
Correct. Yes, it's not my primary source of work, but it is kind of a side thing I do a few hours a week. And sure, I work for Advantage Behavioral Health Systems, and on a contract basis, work with the it's called the Day Reporting Center in Athens, and it's for people who are on felony probation in Clark County who have a substance use disorder and who also meet the criteria for a mental health disorder. For those people within that program, I provide outpatient counseling.
Okay, and would you say that mental health and substance use disorder kind of go hand in hand?
Absolutely. Yes, they do. It's kind of a chicken or egg kind of relationship, but where you find one, you will often find the other.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you are actually a person in long-term recovery yourself.
That's right. I'm an alcoholic in long-term active recovery, and so the work I do is actually part of my recovery in terms of a 12-step type philosophy. So I'm very grateful to be able to have a career that dovetails with my values and my mission in life and my recovery.
Being able to give back. Yes, and you have 7 years.
Almost.
That
Yes.
is amazing.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, for me and my friends, that's a really big deal.
It's a big deal for me.
Yes,
and
yes.
my friends and my family. Yeah.
So, and you believe in multiple pathways to recovery.
I do. Yeah. I've seen people achieve recovery through many means. And I endorse whatever works for someone. You know, sometimes it's a 12-step, higher power type recovery. Other times it's more clinical and not so much spiritual or religious related at all. Other times people come up with their own pathways sometimes, which is probably the least common way people achieve recovery, but that is a path. There are many paths to recovery.
Absolutely. I always tell people, whatever works for you, keep doing it.
Yeah. If you're abstaining from drugs and alcohol and you are actually just not grumpy and angry all the time.
Yeah.
Good for you. Keep doing it.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Irritable, restless, and discontent. If you're not those things and you're abstinent, good for you.
Right, right. Because I know for me in my recovery, I started in like a 12-step basis, and then it kind of grew where like service was a pathway for me, kind of like you and what you do. I do recovery massage. So for me, being able to work on people in the community and serve that way as a peer wellness coach over at Divas Who Win Freedom Center is where I'm over at.
Okay.
And that and just serving different ways in my community, even by doing these interviews, you know, and bringing awareness and education for recovery. So tell me a little bit about what it's like working at the Day Reporting Center or working with the Day Reporting Center.
Sure. Well, it's under the Department of Corrections, and I think the term would be a diversion program. It's where people are, you know, they're in trouble with the law and they have a substance abuse problem. And so most of them get a choice about jail or prison or this recovery program. And it's a ASEM level 2.5 recovery program. Meaning they try to help people comprehensively in their life with some social worky type things, with classes about learning how to get your life together, how to improve your parenting, how to improve learning how to manage your money, how to live a life that is motivated by more healthy and positive things instead of the criminal lifestyle or a gang lifestyle or whatever lifestyle the people were in that was getting them in trouble. So they really try to help people comprehensively all around. And so where I come into play there is I'm a mental health professional for people who are in the program who have a mental health diagnosis and a substance abuse diagnosis. So the role I play is that I provide outpatient counseling for them in terms of helping them with mental health and the co-occurring mental health and substance abuse issues. So I probably work with maybe, 10 to 15% of the participants are the ones I work with. I don't work with all of them.
And do you see that when you add that whole, I call it a whole health holistic approach, that it's more effective, adding the mental health in than just say somebody who's just attending meetings or...
Yes. It all works together, just like our physical body. When one part hurts, the whole thing suffers, So they really do try to take a holistic, comprehensive life approach, and they try to provide people, instead of just throwing them in jail or punishing them legally, they try to get them help with the problems that are getting these people in trouble in the first place. They're trying to get to the root of it and give them other choices besides just punishment. And theoretically, it is a great idea. Practically, there are a lot of challenges and hindrances and difficulties with it. But it is overall, I think, a useful and worthwhile program.
It's a lot of work, you're saying. Is that what you mean? Like what hindrances?
Well, it's the Department of Corrections. So
Okay. Yes. So
it's a drab 1970s government building full of probation officers.
Okay.
So if you've been in jail a lot of your life and have a negative history with that, it's a hard place to just relax in.
Right.
I mean, it almost feels like a jail. It's not a jail, but it's definitely got that vibe. You got people walking around with guns and tasers and bulletproof vests.
Wow.
At the same time as there's people saying, "How you doing? How can I help you?" So it's a hard place to let your guard down and actually relax. Just the whole setup is challenging in that way. So it's a tough place to do therapy.
Yeah, so it's kind of intimidating.
To some people.
Yeah. I would be intimidated.
I'm not anymore because I've been there so much.
Right.
In general, it's a difficult place to try to help someone with sensitive issues.
And I know earlier this year we were having some talks about like funding being cut and things of different programs that support people. So funding is so important for these kind of programs.
Yes, funding is very important. And, I've been working in the mental health system in Georgia for, I think, about 13 years now. And just consistently, year after year, I've seen funding get cut more and more and more. And we have to do more with less constantly, to the point where some people just get stretched so thin that they get burned out and quit. Or we just can't pay people... the best people aren't going to work for the state because the salaries are so low that even if they want to do that, they're not going to do it because they can't support a family.
Wow.
They can't. So you're just not going to get the best workers, or you're going to get really young and inexperienced people in situations where you need older, more mature, experienced people. So you have people right out of school dealing with really heavy issues with people and things like that they're really not fully ready for.
Right.
So the funding is such a big deal, and I could go on and on about that for hours, but more funding would go a long way, and it's just been cut year after year. It really doesn't seem to matter who's has the majority in the state, in the House. The funding just keeps getting cut year after year, it seems like.
Yeah, well, we are definitely using our voices, me and my peers in recovery, and Georgia Council on Substance Abuse, who we just absolutely love. We are using our voices to speak out about recovery, to bring education, to bring awareness, and to show people like, hey, people in recovery are not what you think they are. We are your massage therapists. We are your clinical social workers.
Yes.
We are your bosses.
We're
Yes, we're everything. Like we do recover, we do get well. And I always tell people, you know, when I broke my anonymity and started speaking out about my recovery, my chains of shame and guilt were broken. They were gone. And I became empowered, and I was proud of the things that I had overcome and the strides that I had made, and that I have this amazing life that I consider a life worth living today. So, and tell me, what advice would you give to somebody who, say, is considering recovery?
Well, if it's someone considering recovery, I would say that's really good, because most of us actually don't consider recovery. We're usually forced into it. Like, I don't know your story, but we hit bottoms. Okay.
Right.
And when the pain of living, you know, as someone who's, you know, using drugs or alcohol, when the pain and the problems get bad enough, we usually seek out some kind of help, and most of us are forced into it. Unfortunately, I was forced into it because I didn't have the guts or the courage or the faith to turn myself in and get help. So my higher power honestly forced me into it, and luckily I accepted it at some point, which was almost 7 years ago. So if someone's considering recovery, I would say that's awesome, because maybe you're realizing, you know, hey, I need help, you know. So if you think you're having a problem, talk to someone who is in active recovery, and maybe they can help you figure out, like, is this kind of an addiction issue? Are you just using it sort of in a problem kind of way? Or how do you figure that out? Because if you're considering recovery, you've probably been playing with fire, and you've probably started getting burned a little bit. So if you get it figured out, maybe you can get things straight before it blows up in your face. Right.
That's great. And they tell us, you know, the elevator gets off on every floor. You don't have to hit the kind of bottom that I hit or you hit, you know. So absolutely.
But it keeps going down. Like, if you have a problem and you don't own up to it.
Yes.
It's bottomless. It'll keep going until you say uncle.
Yes.
Or die. I mean, sadly.
Absolutely. Yes. And I'm so thankful that I said uncle. Yes. Absolutely. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Chris. Thank you for your story, your testimony, and your experience. And we'll see you guys next time on Recovery Inspired Hope. Make sure you subscribe to Jamie Tall. Bye.